All right, welcome back. Excuse me. Welcome back, and we are continuing our discussion with Engineer Mativo, a civil engineer. And we were talking about the process of registration for a professional engineer. And we left at some point when we are have some questions. And I would like to limit this session a bit because I would love to allow everybody to get back to their TV station so that they can get the government briefings on what is going on with regards to coronavirus and COVID-19. Just a reminder that this is a disease that is preventable. It's prevented by avoiding mingling around in large crowds because you don't know who's the carrier. And because why you don't know the carrier, because it takes around 2 to 14 days for it to manifest itself that it is in a person. So if somebody is a carrier, you will not know. It's not like any other flu, common flu. It's a bit tricky. That's why try to isolate yourself properly and go out when it's necessary. That is what many countries are doing. It just requires some civil obedience. Go out when it's necessary. And from advices that I've gotten from some good medical doctors and virologists, they say use antiseptic hand sanitizers when necessary, especially when you're outside. But when you're in your house, try to use soap and water is the best. Some people, when they're using antiseptics, especially those that are antibacterial and antifungal, they say some people develop some resistance in the future. So minimize the use of such antiseptics, but use them outside when you are outside and you cannot get a place to wash your hands easily. So with that, we'll allow members to ask questions again regarding engineering profession and regarding engineering registration in Kenya. Questions, members? I know Abdi will always have a question. Abdi.
Engineer,
yes,
you have said that you have been a panelist at IEK. During your time as a panelist, have you ever interviewed a technologist?
Is it 40 or 40? I've not got a chance to interview. I've only interviewed members who want to be corporate members of IK. That's a panel I sit. I think the technology is a different panel, if I'm not wrong. That's completely different from the one I sit in. That one I have to find out from IK who sits on that one. Then, because I think their guidelines and act requires them to have that. But for me, I don't sit in that, so I cannot speak for them now.
And engineer, what we have?
I asked that question because they are a member of this institution also.
Yes, that's why I'm agreeing with you, but I don't sit in that panel. I only sit for the ones who want to be corporate members.
All right. And engineer, there is a question that somebody had sent me on WhatsApp on my phone asking. We have several categories of membership, and those who are allowed to vote. Even in the previous election, it happened to have associate members and above. What are the requirements of associate member? Because we know very well that for you to be a corporate member, you have to have some experience and go through the interview. What are the requirements of the associate member for one to become associate member? Because so far I think we had 11 associate members voting.
Okay, that I need to check. I think it's on the website, so I'll just have to Google and check, like the way you can check to confirm, so that I don't misrepresent IK in that one.
Yeah, because I think it needs to be made clear so that because we have many people, maybe they might not want to be corporate members, but they can at least move to associate members so that we see some progress and improve on the numbers also. Come from graduate engineer and they can also move to associate membership status before they move to the next level. Any other question, members? If some questions, engineer will be able to tackle, I think, in our common group, Telegram. So some of the questions I think that we have asked and he has not been able to answer us, he will try to write for us on Telegram, and we can look at them in that manner. Now, engineer, I have one Tony question. As a person who has been a professional engineer for like how many years? 20 years ago?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, for 30 years.
Yeah, for the last 30 years. So you've worked you've worked with many, and I know you've also had a situation whereby you have young girls and boys coming for internship or their first job at different companies you've been. There is a Tony question regarding sexual harassment, and I would like to get your opinion on how you go about it if you ever face such in your...
Hello, I lost you, engineer.
I'm saying there is you've had many young boys and girls coming for internship and also maybe their first job at different companies you've been. So what is your take regarding sexual harassment that maybe they face, especially engineering in Kenya is male dominated. I know where I am right now, we have many lady engineers and not like in Kenya. So I would like to know what is your take regarding such, and if, because you know you have been in a position as a manager and maybe some of these cases have come onto you, and how have you mentored young girls for professional status?
Okay, the organizations I've worked for, most of them have had, the HR manual is very clear in terms of defining first how you deal with gender issues, even then how you deal with sexual harassment and such issues. So that is well defined in the HR manuals, at least for the organizations I've worked in. And if any organization does not have, therefore, to me, I would request them to, there's need for them to have clear policies and clear procedures in terms of how people should handle, how people should report, and how people should end up being protected from that. The second thing that even beyond policies that I say is open lines of communication, so that where there's an issue, it's well reported and can easily be followed without victimizing the party is affected. That's has to be quite important. Then again, with time, learn how to ensure that everybody's comfortable. I mean, be free with people so that they can be able to share with you and to be able to manage this, because they're both engineers, but human beings, be able to ensure that they are, wherever they are, they make decisions or they're able to undertake their work with no fear in terms of harassment. Yes, cases arise like that, and management has to be extremely swift in terms of how it acts with that, and where there's suspicion, to know how to make changes to avoid such a situation from happening.
All right. And how about, how many lady engineers have you mentored to professional status or corporate membership?
I think KETRACO, maybe I'll count 4. I'm trying to also. Yeah, something close to 4. Yeah, men are definitely the majority.
Yeah. But
Mm.
engineer, the number is, for 30 years, you've only managed 4.
Not what I was saying.
No, for ladies. Ladies.
30 years I've been an engineer for 30 years, but as a PE, I've been there for 20 years. So right. I should have made that. Yeah, right. So that is clear. So in the 20 years, okay, one part of it I was working as a long-term consultant, where it's more single user rather than working in a corporate where you have to work it from home.
Yeah.
The other part in KETRACO now, that's where I can say that for 10 years, those are the ones that I've worked with. Actually, I'm really pushing most of them to get registered as engineers. Yeah.
Thank you. I hope we get more ladies who can take after you. You know, we are in this world shortly, and though we wish you health and many years, but we never know the plans of God. So we need more ladies and your daughters and mothers to come back to the profession. There's one question here. I am currently a graduate engineer. Can I register as a corporate member of IEK instead of graduate member of? I think that question is answered, because you can go directly to EBK and register. You can go directly to EBK and do the professional interview. And once you get the PE status, they tell you to go provide your documents at IEK, and you'll forgo the graduate membership status at IEK, and you go directly to become a corporate member. That one is very easy. So, my Siba, Or somebody has, I came a bit late after the engineer had tackled a maximum number of words. Please, can you explain this for me? Agre, please, you try to watch the video later. We'll upload it on YouTube so that you can look at those questions and answers, because the engineer had clarified the numbers a bit. And you can also check IEK South Rift branch. There are some templates there for the documents. Speaking about mentorship, this is the main challenge for GEs, especially in the private sector, who may not get opportunity to work under registered professional engineer. What is this question? It's, I'm missing it a bit, just a minute. Who may not get, where is it? Private sector, who may not get an opportunity to get to work under a registered professional engineer. What is your opinion on how GE can go about this?
That's what I request both. Okay, there are always the Gs, as you said, that work in the private sector where they might not get somebody to work under. Or even, by the way, I have seen quite a number of people coming for the panel interview. They live in towns where maybe the closest PE is quite some distance away. And this is what I always request is going back to the logbook, which maybe I'll stress during my summary. First, identifying the mentor who doesn't have to be, okay, it's always best if they're in your company because they work with you a long journey. But if you're not in that position, definitely get a mentor who you can work.
Hello, engineer.
Those are kind of things that the person will be able to work with you. So to me, it's key that we identify the mentor. Maybe with time, we need to work and get a list of potential mentors out there so that people can actually know which ones are available. People actually, maybe even EBK should be giving engineers points for mentoring somebody so that they're also proactive in looking for people to mentor and working with them. But to me, it's possible. I've seen cases of people working in towns where they do not have a direct person who could be a mentor, but they met them regularly and they brought the reports and they're signed off, and we found the person competent. You can actually tell this person has worked and a professional engineer and who has not worked under that. So you can actually see that. So it's possible. So just go that extra mile, get somebody to work with and to work with, then it's actually possible to get this out. But let's get regular communication. In the days of now technology, to me, there's nothing actually with Zoom now. You can actually meet your mentor, you can share your logbook for the last 3 months and have this kind of discussion and to be able to be assisted in that direction. So you don't have to be seated together in the same company. But if they're in the same company, it's better.
Yes. Good evening, engineer. Could IEK partner with private sector or public sector to identify active projects in which GEs can be attached to? In turn, GEs would have to apply, especially GEs who are employed by the government. That I think the question is just about, can IEK get in touch with the private sectors and public company sector where there are projects that GEs are involved and they can also get to register?
I think that is what is workable. To me, if IEK was to do an audit of all the engineers, by the way, what I even requested IEK, this logbook you're talking about, we can actually move to technology where IEK, with the day you get registered as a graduate engineer, open a portal where you actually feed in online, which is only available to your mentor or whoever has authorization. Then that's one of the things back to the logbook. But again, when it comes to jobs, there's nothing wrong in IEK after doing the audit, telling people like KETRACO Kenya, people who actually deal with mega projects, that in the document, we always have to allow for X number of graduate engineers to work for, because our projects take anything like 3-4 years. There's nothing wrong in that. So I believe there's a way IEK can be proactive in terms of getting partnership with both the private sector, but again with public sector, because that's where the mega projects to ensure that every engineer gets at least something that where he can actually build experience, everything from planning to design to construction, and the whole contract management, to me, it's possible. It's something I can definitely take it up with the leadership.
I see. And somebody here by the name Ben Blaster is asking, what kind of project reports someone who has a bachelor degree in agricultural biosystem right to register as a professional engineer? I think engineer is a civil engineer, and maybe we can get a list from EBK, because actually members, I think engineer, you should maybe professional engineers in Kenya should look at EBK website, because there's a mentorship form there where engineers who are willing to mentor graduate engineers can apply, and I think that's how we can get agricultural and biosystem engineers who can guide Ben Blasto clearly, because so for purpose of area of but I think there's some aspects of civil engineering in agricultural engineering that maybe you can talk about.
Okay, most of them will be close to water, and especially the ones who are doing irrigation or similar structures. So if there's somebody specifically coming to speak on that area, maybe I would request him to hold the question, so that somebody goes into more detail in terms of part 2, what they're looking at, and you see areas of common, which are the cross-cutting areas and which ones are common to pick from. But the most important thing that I have to stress for him and the rest here is that from today, to me, it's really important that he documents everything that he does, especially the issues that are special, what is unique, what is he making, what as an engineer is he adding, what value is he adding to ensure that projects are being planned well, are being designed well, are being implemented in a way that they work within time, cost, and the scope of the work. To me, that he should be able to do even before he gets the template or whatever is to be done. If he does that, at least 50%, most of the work will actually be done for him.
So Ben Blaster, I'm looking for agricultural engineer. Maybe engineer will help me later to get one who can appear on webinar, so that we can ask agricultural questions for you and other agricultural engineers around. Somebody here is also asking, hi engineer, I think you have misled us a bit on IEK registration. For PE interview, one of the requirements is one should be a member of IEK, who then proceed to organize a PIP seminar. I have never heard of a professional interview going via EBK only, because they would then ask the PIP attendance certificates. PIP certificate is not mandatory at EBK. Much that I know, PIP certificate is not mandatory at IEBK. You can go directly for application at IEBK, and then, because the requirement in the Engineers Act is you must be a corporate member. So once you've passed the interview at EBK, they will give you a letter that you will take to IEK, and IEK will be able to now facilitate the process of registering you as a corporate member. You do not need a PIP attendance certificate. Take note of that. A PIP attendance is just to guide you on how to write the report and give you more information. So, of course, in terms of IEK, PIP attendance will be good for you, for them to know that at least you attended the sessions and you know how to, some questions that were raised at PIP conferences or meetings, you got them and you are able to now write your document properly. So take it that EBK, when you apply for a professional interview at EBK, you do not need a PIP certificate. A PIP certificate may be required only in IEK. But in our assessment that we have seen many engineers going to IEK, and their interviews are done faster than EBK, because EBK takes meet, I think, quarterly, and maybe they meet, sometimes they don't have enough numbers for the interviews, or maybe the commissioners or the panelists are engaged elsewhere. But IEK is a bit faster. We have had scenarios where the interviews have gone at EBK and they have taken longer when somebody comes and apply at IEK, and it goes faster. So take note of that. But PIP certificate is not mandatory at EBK. Any other questions? Yes, Mohammed Ali, you have a question? Okay, I think there's no question here. So maybe in the absence of questions, I just have maybe, yes, Lawrence. Your mic is, Lawrence?
Yes, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
I have one question, especially for, say, engineers who are in sales. You
Yeah.
know, the engineers who perhaps started in design and then
Mhm.
eventually went into sales, and they sell product X to solve a problem for their clients.
Yes.
So the question is, would they be able to, say, present the products, say, the problems they solved for their clients in selling them the products that they're selling? Say, for example, people work for Davis and Shatleaf, people work for companies that sell machineries and such and such. And the other second, perhaps a comment or a question, it would either fall in any category of the two, is in terms of a PIP certificate. You know, there are engineers who are being trained under engineers who guide them properly, so they do not have to necessarily attend a PIP to be able to write the reports. So having the PIP certificate, I think would not should not apply to all the cases.
Yeah.
That is my comment, I think. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question.
The first question, actually, by the way, let me just go back a little. In terms of, if you look at the guidelines by IK, I know we focus more in terms of people giving designs and calculations and such things and drawings.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always the option, even doing a feasibility study, report on projects, functions. There's quite a lot that you can do outside the typical doing a design and giving 4 drawings, you know, that 90% of people do, but being able to present the other documents. But all in all, is what we're looking at is in terms of somebody being able to demonstrate that they understand the client's needs. They know various options of engineering solutions that can be given. They must be doing some level of design, whether it's for you to advise somebody, must be able to understand the whole thing of design. You must understand in terms of this solution has to be put, all engineering issues usually are going to be put in a physical space. So in terms of either it's been constructed or been manufactured, how it's been undertaken, then in terms of how you be able to show that it meets the client's needs, as long as you package that way, to me it's workable. But you have to demonstrate the whole spectrum of engineering, that you are competent and you know what is happening. That is one of the things. You cannot avoid the part of design. That you have to give by some level. I know there's going to be a lot of stressing in areas where you're most competent in, but you have to show across the board you understand the principles that go into that. So if it's you're working David and Shatleaf, you're talking about a pump, you should definitely know how to the principles on how this pump works, and not just simply knowing that it costs X number of shillings and it can pump this head, but you know exactly the behind the scene of what it takes to get this kind of product.
Okay. But there are some... Yes, engineer? Hello?
Sorry, I lost you?
Yeah, but there are some, we have we have so many civil engineers registered as opposed to other areas of profession. If you look at the last elections, we have how many out of this, the elect aspirants? I think more than 70% are, is this 70%? We have, like, in short, majority are civil engineers. The numbers, if you look at the last register that was published by EBK last year, we have very few electrical engineers, we have very few agricultural engineers, and even mechanical, but we have so many civil engineers. What do you think is is the reason behind this, because for every project that is running in the country, be it a civil engineering project, there must be a mechanical engineer, there must be a civil electrical engineer in some of the designs. Yet the number is low.
Okay, I think maybe for civil engineers, we maybe with time it became easier for them to recognize in terms of how they package themselves to be able to show what is required by the board,
yes,
or by the institution of engineers of Kenya. I think for electrical, and maybe that's a conversation that needs to be held in mechanical and other areas. I think the panelists or the senior ones in that area have to sit down and ask themselves exactly, because people, as you said, there's a lot of people, the people are doing the electrical, mechanical, and other areas, but why is it they're not moving in that direction? There's a root problem, root cause that needs to be, people have to look and find out what exactly is happening and solve it, so that they also make it possible for engineers to move up the ladder. I work for KETRACO. We have 100 engineers in KETRACO, but again, the civil who might be just maybe 25 or so, with 75 being electrical, but you find still the civil maybe get pushed. They because I mentor both, getting them into registration maybe comes, I don't know whether, I don't want to say it's easier, but the electrical to be able to get the foundation of what is the expectation of the panel. That's why maybe better get other electrical engineers and mechanical, especially electrical, not just building services, but outside building services, and mechanical, for other engineers to understand what exactly are you looking, so that they also say, what are you looking for? I'm actually maybe doing transmission system planning. I'm doing, because I see guys doing magic in my department, those electrical engineers, but is that sufficient for registration? And if not, why not? Because I see the skills that they have. But Engineer Ndolo, maybe you better get somebody to answer this more in more details, because I've also struggled to know exactly why do we have this situation.
Yeah, I'm asking because you, as a civil engineer, you've worked, every project you do, like maybe in building structures, you always have an electrical person or a mechanical person always consulting about their area of profession, right? That's why I asked. Yes. So maybe you would have some perspective behind it. Now, I think there's another question here. I think we have more. Yeah, that question we are signing documents, electrical. All right, I think the question has been looked at. Simon, the question has been answered. That one. Right. So I think let's have one question, members, if there's any question.
Hi, Engineer Ndolo.
Hi, Mali.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm just asking one question.
Yes.
For the mentorship program.
Yes.
I would want to know if we can work towards having maybe mock interviews just for people to get practice on what is expected of them.
Engineer, mock interviews?
I think to me, it definitely will be a pleasure when to definitely take people through the interviews, because sometimes you get an engineer. We had this lady who came for the interview and she was really panting, and we had to get her really relaxed. And I think she's one of the consultants, did a very good job for one of the hospitals, but to get her relaxed, to be able to know, we are not there to bite her. We are here she should relax, because all the questions will come from our document, for her to know exactly that it's not, as long as you prepare yourself, to me, it's not something you should be scared of. But to me, definitely, maybe we need to have more panelists. IK is good that we expanded the number of panelists. But to me, your mentor or anybody who has been a panelist, it should be just a pleasure to assist you to prepare, or at least to give you hints in terms of what is expected out there. Because sometimes you just get yourself relaxed a bit.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Engineer, have you mentored Kenyans from the semi-arid parts?
From the semi-arid?
Yes. And by semi-right, I don't mean like Kajiado. Kajiado can easily come to Kenya, to Nairobi. I mean the far north corners.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think we have 1 or 2 engineers who are from whatever, not working directly under me. So, but whatever way I mentor others, I'll still mentor them the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure, but definitely it'll be a pleasure to get, because I've traveled to every part of this country, just be a pleasure definitely to mentor somebody from just different places.
Yeah, I'm asking this because sometimes maybe some people are not open to that kind of mentorship. So it is our request now going forward that you look for some from those sides.
Me, I'm always, if you ask engineers who work for the company I work from, I'm the one who is really pushing, because truly, Engineer Ndolo, I don't see anybody who has got a chance to work in a place for a couple of years, and they package themselves quite well and they're well guided.
Yeah.
To me, I see virtually almost 80-90% of the engineers, there's nothing that should stop them from registration. There's a lot of myth that go there, because when I sit down with the engineers in the office, you listen to some of the myth they tell you, and I tell them, when I sit in the panel, I'm asking you questions. If you write, as I said, example, you're going to write in the document that we terminated this contractor, it's just obvious that I'm going to ask you the process it followed. I mean, to me, I'm not going to, I don't get questions from anyways. The questions are from your document.
All right. Okay, so I had another question, but somebody is saying, are you guys allowed to refer to, say, FIDIC during the interview?
Whether we're allowed to refer to FIDIC?
Yeah, do you refer to FIDIC during the interview session?
No, there are different kinds of, it depends now what, for example, if somebody says I prepared a bidding document, tender document, then we'll ask you what conditions of contract you used. Some people might have used FIDIC, some people might have used, whether it's World Bank, those various kinds of documents that are available. Then somebody can ask you a question in terms of this area. Maybe let me give you a typical question is for example, in the tender or the contract documents, there are usually 3 safeguards, monetary safeguards that protect the client from the contractor in case the contractor is not able to deliver the work. So what are the safeguards? So irrespective of whether you're using FIDIC, whether you're using World Bank contracts, somebody should know issues about there's a performance guarantee, there's issues about this retention money that is held there. Then whatever there's some things that are cut across. Liquidated damage is actually there. So these are things that cut across. So I've never seen any questions specifically about FIDIC, but about what comes in the contract of documents. They will definitely ask you questions in that area. If you want to terminate, those questions will come definitely.
So in short, if somebody put a reference, a FIDIC reference, so definitely it can appear in the interview.
Oh, definitely. When you write there, you have done FIDIC. I may enjoy. I'll definitely ask you some basic questions. But again, don't always remember, and the engineers, the interview is only 1 hour.
Yes.
So, but if you give 15 minutes to introduce yourself, then there are the last few minutes are left for maybe part 2 and the quantities. So you remember the amount of time you're available for really the interaction is not so much.
Yes.
So somebody has to know their points. We're not going to details. If you ask you what kind of documents you said you supervise the project site, I ask you, what do you normally record per day? You just mentioned 1 or 3. I know this guy knows. Continue to the next question. Jump to the next one. So it's not like we spend too much time on something. Just to understand, does this person
understand
what sound engineering?
Yeah. Can somebody physically open and refer to the document during the interview?
Which document?
Like if you're having an interview in the morning or in the afternoon, can someone physically open up the reference and quote at the interview?
What reference? Sorry, I missed you. Which reference are you talking about?
I think Edward. Back to FIDIC. Edward, what reference are you talking about? Edward.
I talk not quoting FIDIC. Or what?
Edward, which reference are you talking about? maybe I think he's talking. Can someone refer to his or her own document during the interview?
Oh yeah, that's what I said earlier in my presentation. One of the things I've noticed with you learn when an engineer asked the first, you come, you sit down, you tell it relax. We introduce ourselves as a panelist. We ask you to introduce yourself. We tell you to remove your ID. The first question is always you take us through your part one, maybe 15 minutes to introduce what you've done post graduation. Then what hits many engineers, they have never looked at their own document. So 15 minutes, you have to be very precise what you can cover in 15 minutes. That's why I keep on telling people, carry your document, bookmark the pages that you want to stress, even put the stick notes and whatever, so that you highlight the points. And I keep on this, because you hit your strong areas. Make sure that we are focused in terms of your strong areas and what you present yourself. So carry your document, everybody carry your document and mark your document exactly. If I'm given 15 minutes, what do I want to tell this panelist in 15 minutes?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we are going to end there so that members can have a breather before they go to in front of their TVs to get updates on the world pandemic issues. Engineer, I would like to thank you so much. Hello, engineer. Can members hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, engineer.
I missed that.
I think we can now break from there, because I would like to have for members to join sorry, I would like members, we stop from at this point and have more questions for engineer and during another session. But Engineer John Mativo, Daktari, I thank you very much for taking your time to appear on this webinar. And I hope many civil engineers in the house can now write to you directly. You can mentor them. They now know they can be mentored even if they're not working under you directly. So I encourage young structural engineers to go directly to Engineer Mativo, talk to him and get more information. At this juncture, I would also like to remind members that on FAST at 2:30, 1st April 2:30, we will be having a panelist of electrical electronics engineering to guide us through. Also have some questions in advance so that they can also be answered for everyone to understand and for us to continue getting ourselves to better and better, and for those who are ready to be able to write their documents in advance and properly so that they can get registered. This year we should have more engineers transiting to PE status. Engineer, I would like to thank you so much, and hope that we will have another session again, maybe where you can present a document of one of your best mentees.
Okay, I'm looking forward.
Thank you, everybody, and have a blessed evening. I hope we will meet again soon. Thank you, engineer. Good evening. God bless you all.
Be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
safe.
Thank you.
Keep safe.
Bye.
Keep safe. Stay at home.
Thank you.
Yeah.